All right, so this is going to be a real simple light painting example. I don't know if I call it a tutorial, but it's going to show you some basics. So light painting is a style of photography where you use a flashlight or something like a flashlight to create the picture. What I mean by that is when you take a picture with a camera outside in the daylight, the reason anything shows up is because usually there's a sunshine or something that bounces off the object and that light enters the camera and the camera sees it basically. Now if you were in pitch black and you took a picture, the camera's not going to see any light. That's why the picture is going to be black. So in the darkness, you can actually use a flashlight to act like the sun. The cool thing about that is you have a lot of control. You can control where the light will go, how long it stays there, and that affects how bright the picture is going to turn out. So what I found just goofing around and experimenting with light painting is that you can make a picture look really cool with just some basic gas station flashlights. Now, a couple of requirements. You need to be able to put your camera on manual mode. That's because we want to give ourselves time. I use 30 seconds to run around, and in that time the camera is basically absorbing any light that it sees. So you get to decide where the camera is going to see light by painting that light on the subject or the object. So you also need a tripod. You need to make sure that the camera will stay still during the exposure. And yeah, that's about it. So just watch some of the examples I'm about to show you and have fun. All right, so I got this little flashlight on the end of the pole. I've got the camera on 20 seconds on manual mode, I think F8 or 9. This little light on the end of the stick is pretty weak, so you have to open the aperture up a little bit. So I got it on a timer. It's going to start shooting, and I'm putting the light right above the motor on the stick. Okay, I heard the camera click, so the 20-second exposure has started. I'm moving the light around. I'm trying not to get in between the light on the engine and the camera, otherwise I'll block it. So I'm trying to get kind of in the nooks and crannies of the engine there. And I might just hold it there. So I heard it, the picture end, and we'll see how that one turned out. All right. That one's okay. Doesn't quite picture, there we go. Yeah, so that's one of them. All right, for this one, we're gonna use a more high-powered flashlight. I think it's like 30 bucks on Amazon. It's super bright. It goes far, but it's a pretty narrow beam. So I've got the truck over there, and I've got the tripod and the camera here. I've already focused the lens on the truck, and then I've turned it to manual focus just so it's not trying to autofocus anymore. It saves a little time. Now, because this light's so bright, I need to close the aperture up a little bit. So right now it's at f16 or f18. I'm doing a 30-second exposure because I need time to run over there while the camera's trying to take the picture. I still have it on a 10-second timer delay to get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to run up, there's some stairs there, and I'm going to shine the light from high down on to the truck. So I'm also going to try to backlight some of this fence and stuff in the background if I have time. So we'll see how it turns out. All right, so I'm going to hit the shutter release, and that's going to start the 10-second delay. And then the camera's going to click, and that means the 30-second exposure has started. I'm still on manual mode, and again, I've made the aperture f18 to close it because this light is a lot more bright. So, okay, the countdown's starting. The picture hasn't started yet. I'm running over. Let's see how that one worked. Okay. Pretty good. Now, I like this picture, but you can't see the front of the truck, the grill. So there's two options. One is you can take the same picture as long as the tripod and the truck are in the same place, and this time highlight the front of the truck, and then you'll have two pictures that are kind of highlighting different things. So you can overlay those two pictures on top of each other in Photoshop and then kind of erase or keep the parts of each picture that you like. Okay, so in my case, I'm going to actually do something a little bit different. There we go, sorry. And I'm going to use this little flashlight that we did before. Where is it? All right, I'll get you a better look at this. This is something I think I got at a gas station. This just takes a couple AAA batteries. You probably recognize this. It's on the end of the stick, so I can kind of keep the light out of the way. So, turn this around. All right, so like this, I said, I'm going to try this again, but I'm going to use two lights in one 30-second exposure. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this little light to try to get low and highlight the bottom of the truck. So kind of the light's going to be low on the ground, shining up a little bit on the lower trim. And then once that's done, I'm going to run up the stairs and use the more high-powered light to try to repeat the last picture. So in the first part, when I'm getting the low light with this weak flashlight, I'm also going to highlight the grill a little bit there. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, this is all about trial and error. I'm sure I would take 20, 30, 40, 50 pictures until I land on a couple with the right, waving the light around that I like. So let's see how this goes. We'll see how that worked. Let's see how that worked. You kind of have to rush a little bit if you're trying to get this all in a 1/32 exposure. Okay, let's see how this one turned out. Okay, so I like it. The front is a little dark. So what I'm going to do is I need to make that small flashlight, the weak one on the front, more powerful. Well, you can't really do that, but you can open the aperture up, make it more sensitive to the light. So that'll make the front seem brighter with the same amount of light. But that means the side will be way too bright. It'll be overkill. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the aperture, which is currently at 18, and I'm going to turn it down to 9 or 10. And that basically is letting more light in. And I'm going to do the same front painting with the weak light, but when I do the side painting with the powerful light, I'm going to turn the power down a little bit on that light, or just spend less time on it. So we'll see how that works. See how that one worked. I've got a good feeling about this one. Oh yeah, I like that. Yeah, I might, on the lower trim, it's very dark under the lower trim. So what I might do is put the flashlight a little bit lower when I go underneath it to try to highlight that. We'll do one more. Okay, and turning on the little flashlight. I heard the camera click on, so I'm just waving this light in the front, get the grill. This time I'm going to go a little lower than I did before with the light, try to get under the trim. Now I'm going to run up the stairs. I throw the other flashlight away. Okay. Let's see how that works. Oh yeah, this one's pretty cool. So I really like the front. The phone camera here is kind of making it look a little brighter than it is. It's actually a nice exposure. One thing is the front of the hood is pretty dark. So I'm going to do one more exposure, and this is what I'm probably going to merge with the second picture. We'll see how it goes. But basically, this is all about the trial and error, right? And you might end up with one you like, you might end up with a whole bunch. But yeah, light painting is a lot of fun. And yeah, you can make pictures look really good with just some simple flashlights and putting the camera in manual mode. And again, it's all about trial and error. So don't be afraid to fail, and that's part of learning. I never took any professional training. It's just goofing around. And I think this is a digital SLR that's probably, I don't know, $600 or $700. I don't even know what model it is. But yeah, any questions, feel free to ask. Thanks.